Hi everyone, welcome to the show. We're back here today with a good friend of mine, Justin Cambra, who works at Amazon, fellow Amazonian like me. Justin, I know we've talked and had the pleasure to get to know each other. Just why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hey, Samir, good morning. Happy to be here on your podcast. I am got into real estate here about 6 years ago, and ever since I got in, I just been like a deal junkie. Like I just want to do as many deals as I possibly can. And so over the last 6 years, accumulated 39 properties within Washington, Wisconsin, and Michigan area. And so been focusing on that, and then over the last couple years been also picking up some joint venture fix and flip, and then some wholesaling. And my day job is working at Amazon, actually in real estate as well. So I'm doing real estate for my W-2, and then I'm doing real estate as my side hustle. So I'm all about everything related to real estate.
That's amazing. It's just the beauty when those two things come together, right? Like your day job or what you do for a career and your passion. That's amazing. Not many people can say that. So that's a really unique position you're in. And I'm sure that's kind of helped in a lot of ways, right? So what a lot of people don't know is you actually started a an awesome group, right? And your passion and love for real estate. I mean, that's showing. So you want to talk a little bit about the group or what it's about?
Sure, would love to. So I think it was December 2019. I started a group at Amazon. Originally, it was called Dream, discussing real estate at Amazon meeting. So Dream, and then we rebranded it maybe about a year and a half ago, and now it's called Real Estate at Amazon. And I was just shocked that the real estate at Amazon email alias was not even taken. So I was able to get that and use that for all communication. And since 2019, originally it's just me running it, and then in COVID times, got more people involved, and then created a real estate committee, which Samir, you're now on, and it's just been exponential growth. So first year we had about 100 people, and now we're coming up 2.5 years, and we just crossed this last week 1,300 members. And then next week we actually have Brandon Turner coming out presenting about open door capital and how he progressed in real estate and is now financially free.
Wow, not too shabby for 2 years, right?
Yep.
Up to 1,300 members, and you got Big B coming out now. That's amazing. We're super excited about that. I'll link the channel and everything. That we have an Instagram page for it, and then YouTube channel coming up for it too. So I'll link those, in the notes and all that. But amazing, man. What you're doing is really cool. So I think a lot of people are happy to be part of the committee.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, it's amazing. So tell me, like, real estate, right? Like getting into it and doing that as a career and as a passion of yours. Has that always been the case? Like, is that like something you want to do from the beginning? How did you kind of get interested in real estate?
That's funny you say that, because like people who meet me today like know that I'm all about real estate. 6 years ago, I was not really into real estate. I mean, I had bought houses and stuff before, but that was just primary residence. And really, I just had you know, candidly speaking, I'd never really found like my calling. And I always liked money and the interaction. And, growing up, there used to be, there's only actual people, stockbrokers, right? Before they now are like automating that out. But I really wanted to be a stockbroker, wear a tie, take a briefcase to work. And then, as I got into my work career, I was working in agriculture, which I grew up on a farm, and I liked the business, and all those were like fun and learning, but I never had the deep passion. And then as I was working at Amazon, and I was in a role, I had taken a finance role here because, like, back to my point of I like money and the interaction, and I want to own my own company. So I was like, I got to know money better. So as I was came to Amazon, got my MBA at Berkeley, I spent 4 years in finance. I realized I can do finance. I realized I don't like finance because I want to be more the mover and shaker, and so because of that, it helped me what do I want to do when I grow up. At the time, I was mid 30s, and then I just so happened to be getting all these Amazon RSUs. I was like, I need to figure out what to do with these so that this is like my one shot, one opportunity to, get that escape plan out of W2 life. And um, stumbled upon Bigger Pockets and, the real estate community. And once I got my first one, which was a house hack here in Seattle, it has just been, sky is the limit, just been tearing it up. Everything about real estate, I'm trying to learn more about it.
That's amazing. And for anyone that doesn't know, like a few acronyms are like RSUs, stock units, right? Restricted stock units for, tech companies issue them usually, and they're stocks of the company. That's how compensation kind of works. And so is it fair to say that kind of springboarded you into it, at least financially, getting into real estate? Is that fair to say?
That definitely helps. So as I was in finance, and I was realizing this is not what I want to do. And I was like, well, how do I best protect myself? Step one, I went Dave Ramsey. I went 100% debt free within the first 2 years of coming to Amazon. And then I started getting the RSUs, and I was like, okay, now I have basically low expenses, and I'm getting large chunks of stocks vested. That then opened up the opportunity to start buying, because I was getting these, one, I was getting the chunk of stocks, but they're like multiples times of more value than I originally got them. So I had this money coming in. I was like, I got to figure out what to do with this money, because this is like my big opportunity to kind of get out of the rat race.
Yeah, 100%, and that definitely is a nice way to get into it, right? And like you said, house hacking, so your expenses were low, right? So for house hacking, anybody that doesn't know, is just like, living in a home and renting out the other spaces, whether that's single family home or a duplex or, whatever, right? It's just renting out other spaces. So that's amazing. That is literally a hack to cutting your
Right.
expenses. So that's amazing. I mean, and in the beginning, that's not always the most comfortable thing, but it does kind of help, right, in getting you started. So from there, like how did you kind of grow to where you are today? Is it just buying one after another single family home, or what, did you use any kind of other strategies to acquire more?
Yeah, there's tons of different strategies. So I actually still live at the house hack. So like my portfolio today is 105 units, but I still live in the house hack. It's a 1 bedroom, 750 square feet. So my cost structure is low. So um, I'm trading off comfort for cash flow to then buy more real estate. So I talked about I was debt free. Then I bought my first house hack. Then I kept more RSUs were coming, right? Every 6 months, these were coming in. So then I bought my first in 2017 in May. I bought my first like actual rental property, non-house hack, and that was an 11 unit in Eastern Washington. And so then I was like, oh man, this is really cool. Now this is at scale. Instead of a duplex, I got 11 units. I didn't know any better. I just was like, I was in finance. I knew numbers. I was like, this thing makes money, hand over fist. So I got that. And then I was listening to Bigger Pockets. I heard some guy young guy, I think early 20s, talking about Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I just so happened to be going out to Madison, a couple months later. I was like, well, let me check this Milwaukee out. So instead of flying in Chicago O'Hare, I flew into Milwaukee. Um, and then I was like, oh my God, this is so cheap here. So what I like to say, it's like Seattle with one less zero at the end. So like a duplex over there was like my first one I bought there in October 2017 was 62,000 versus, you might pay 620,000 for a duplex in Seattle. So once I saw that, I was like, and they're on the MLS. So in terms of work to get it was easy. Like I just go through the MLS, run them through my calculator. I mean, I don't even know how many I've done, over hundreds, I've done. So now it's really easy for me to see what makes sense. And so bought that one in October 2017, bought another one in December 2017. And then, 2018 to today, the last 4 years, I'm probably on average buying a house like every other month or so. In terms of how to scale, everyone's going to run into the problem I had. You're going to run out of money. So I think I bought 19 properties before running out of money. And then I was like, oh, I've been talking to people about real estate, and then, people knew I was into real estate. And then, somebody reached out and was like, hey, if you ever need a partner, like, I'd be open and to partner with you. So then I did kind of a few partnerships wave. So I have 4 partnerships. I actually just bought out 1 partner, so now technically I have 3. Within those, that helped me scale up to where most partners is just me and one other person, but there's one partnership where there's 4 of us, and it helped me, get into more deals, but less money out of pocket. And so that's how I kept buying. And then the last way I kept buying was creatively, and that's a function of seller financing, and then most recently sub 2. I think you're a part of the sub 2 family with Pace Morby. I watch all his YouTube content, total YouTube university, and lately been using his techniques on securing seller finance deals or sub 2 deals.
Amazing, amazing. You touched on a few things there, and for anyone that's not a finance major or is really good with numbers like yourself, you mentioned something there, right? You analyzed a bunch of deals, right? And that really is one of these kind of secrets in the beginning. I would say is just look at deals and start plugging them in. Even if you don't buy them at the end of the day, it's such a good experience to like see what is a good deal, see what is not a good deal, right? And then I mean now I'm sure it's a lot faster of a process, right, than in the beginning, right? So
Yep.
yeah, that's a huge thing. And then I think people are always looking for 2 things: is capital and deals, right? And so that in order to scale, you have to kind of do that.
Right.
But then there's this third aspect of creative finance, right? And that's kind of it's becoming more known, and like you said, because of people like Pace or people who are educating on the topic. So let's kind of touch on that, right? Like seller finance subject to creative structures. What have you done, which I know you worked on a subject to recently, so you want to kind of go into that? We can kind of discuss what that looks like and how that worked for you.
Yeah, so the most recent creative deal was sub 2, and it's one of those things, you get what you put your time into. So like about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, is when I started getting into Pace Morby's content. And then I was like, man, I want to get one of these sub 2s. And what I like to do, I'm a dabbler. So I try to do a little bit of everything, because I'm wholesale, fix and flip, in state, out of state, short term, medium term, long term, private money, like all that. I like to do a little bit of everything. And so I started focusing on sub 2, reading a lot of or watching a lot of YouTube about it. And then every time I would be talking to sellers, anytime I get direct, usually it's coming from Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, prior sellers. I'm always trying to pitch. Well, I give them multiple offers: the cash, traditional, and seller financing. And so then, it's just a law of averages. I'm giving that many offers, somebody's going to be open to it. So this most recent one was a very complicated deal, because like it was probably March of last year, March of 2021, I think, is when I first started talking to him. We were under contract for like 6 of his properties. He's trying to retire. And I was like, hey, I'll just, I didn't want all of them, but I was going to take all of them to get the whole deal done. Then we were under contract, we were working on closing, and then he had actually sold one out from under me. Contractually, you're not able to do that. So then I was like, okay, backed out of the deal. But I kept in touch with the guy, kept the communication going. He ended up selling another one, and so there was 4 left. And then they're actually the 4 that I wanted. They were like, you could hit a rock with all of them. 3 are side by side, and one's like 2 streets over. I was like, okay, those are the ones that I want. And so I ended up continuing the discussion of seller financing, and then the subject to aspect of it. He's a long-term real estate investor, so he understood it. Took a little bit of explaining, but when it was all said and done, the final offer, I think, was offer number 15. And that's through between us, and then he would take it to his lawyer and then back to me. And so some of it, people who are like, oh man, they do all these deals, it's so easy for them. Sometimes you got to manufacture and create these deals by working with them. So that deal originally fell through, then I followed up, and came back and then continued the discussions and was able to piece it together.
So you mean to tell me it's not just a one offer and you're going to get the deal? That's not how that works.
Oh yeah. Generally in sub 2, never is. The only one that was one offer ended up to be a scam off Craigslist. So if somebody does, you may want to like do some more due diligence, make sure it's a real person that actually owns the house.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of people out there, right? So be careful who you work with. And it's always if it's too good to be true, it just might be too good to be true, right? So
Right.
yeah, no, that's awesome though. Like I'm glad that it's a testament to your persistence and following up, right? That's kind of the
Yep.
key. Everybody says it, but it is. And so that deal, you bought 4 of the properties subject to, and for anyone that doesn't know, these are creative strategies to buy. Did you have any of your own money into the deal? How did you kind of structure it in that way?
So in this deal, I do have some of my own money into it. So, and the way it worked, and so for those that are into sub 2, you get objections, and because like, sub 2 means the mortgage is still there under their name, and so some people like that, some people don't like that, and so after we got it across the finish line, and this is offer like number 10 or 11 or something, then he took it to his lawyer and was like, you know that your name's still on the lease, and he's a lawyer, he gets paid to talk about risk and everything. So then the seller backed out, and then I was like, gosh, there's got to be a way to work around this. And so I literally, Pace always has these sub 2 objections podcasts or YouTube videos, and I ended up finding it was one clip. It was like 45 minutes in or something like that, and it talked about an auto renewing lease option. And so I played that, and he's talked about it on a couple of videos. I watched all those videos and then thought about it. I was like, okay, I can do this. So that's the way we set it up, is that instead of it just being a traditional sub 2 where I'm owning the properties and he's still on the notes with the bank, the way it works is I'm basically leasing it from him every year. So technically I don't own it, but I'm leasing it from him. And the way that it's structured is that all my payments go towards the purchase price. So it's a deal structure to where he feels comfortable from a legal liability standpoint. I have control of the properties, and we were able to get a deal done. So, but back to your original question, did I have money into it? Yes. So there's 4 properties, 3 single families side by side, and then a duplex 2 streets over. And so it's 360,000. That was the purchase price. The down payment was 10%, so 36,000. Now, one of the things that I lately have been doing, I don't know where I picked this up, but I was like, you don't always have to do the down on close. So I was like, well, I can give you 27.5, or no, it's 27,000 down now. So at close, I brought 27,000. Then I said, hey, this 9,000, let me pay that over 6 months. So the first 6 months, I'm paying him the normal payments. Then I'm layering in another 1,500 for that 9,000. So just because it's 10% down doesn't mean it's all down. That way I'm able to use some of the money from the property to then pay him back. So the goal of creative financing is it's shrinking the amount you put in and stretching it out. If you do both of those, that's like the perfect deal for you.
Amazing, right? Because that's what it is, right? It's creating a deal,
Yep.
right? That normally wouldn't exist, and you can get creative in the ways you kind of structure it. Because, hey, if you went to a bank, right, and they asked you to put 25% down for an investment property, right, you would have a lot more cash outlay, and for that same 36,000, you would have to bring it to the table at closing, and you wouldn't be able to buy that much property. You'd probably maybe buy 1 or 2 of the same properties with that same money instead of buying 4. Right.
Exactly.
And so creative finance allows, it can be a win-win, right? So a seller can benefit as well in different ways, but so can you. So this is the power of it. And it's amazing when it kind of clicks and it works out. You can do a lot of things. So dude, I'm excited for you. I know you've been wanting to get a sub 2 for a while. And I was
Yep.
like, when I saw that post, I was so happy. I was like, yes, you got it. And I'm working on my own right now too. So we can talk about that, me and you, after. But that's amazing. I'm happy for
Awesome.
you.
Yeah, you'll get one, man. It's you get what you focus on, what you manifest. And so like I'm always thinking about it. Anytime I talk to somebody about a property, I'm always thinking about how can I make this work for them that works for me. And then it's just, I'm getting in front of enough sellers to where it's going to happen. So I'm sure your deal is going to work out. And if it doesn't, you're going to get a deal because you're hanging around people that are talking sub two, seller financing, creative deals, deal structures, so that you're going to get one. It's just a matter of time if you put the effort in.
Exactly, 100%. And like you said, just you start seeing them when you look for them, right? So it's like that the blue Honda effect, right? It's
Right.
like when you start looking for a blue Honda, you start seeing them everywhere, right? And
Right.
so yeah, it's interesting where you start finding opportunities that I kick myself now looking back, like,
Mhm.
wow, that was an opportunity looking back, and then now,
Mhm.
but now obviously it's hindsight's 2020. So so when you first got started, did you kind of think that you'd be able to, get to this level of scaling to 100 units, and then now doing these incredible things, right, creating a community, and just the position you're in now?
So not really. I just knew I liked real estate and I knew I wanted to get financial freedom. But to be honest with you, I've been heads down just grinding it out. So, 105 seems like a big number, but I'm buying two at a time, unit wise, 2 units here, 6 units there. I'm just looking at the next thing. It's kind of like if you're, try to walk up the Empire State Building, the stairs, right? It seems huge, but if you just focus on the stairs, you'll get there. And that's what happened with me is like incrementally little things. So like I live by the motto, all great things come from the power of the increment. And so that's it, just kind of manifested and grew over time. I didn't have like, I mean, most investors say, hey, I want 10,000 per month. That's like a good number of passive income such that you can quit your day job and then go full-time real estate. So like I had that in the back of my mind, but it was more about let's just get deals, let's get cash coming in, and let's figure out the profitability at the end of the on the back end and optimize. And that's actually where I'm shifting to is my acquisition mode is complete. I'm in optimization mode, stabilization mode. So like getting units turned, getting bad tenants out, getting better tenants in, restructuring debt, getting my organization, LLC structure set up, getting my 2021 taxes done, getting my bookkeeping such that I have weekly, monthly reports. So all that non-revenue generating stuff, but bottom line impact stuff. So that's how like I'm able to squeeze more to the bottom line. Then I'll be able to retire out of the W-2 life and then just be full-time real estate investor.
Yeah, 100%. And for anyone that thinks like, hey, real estate is just about buying properties and cash flowing and sitting back, it's not, right? So it's a job, and I mean, a lot of it can be optimized and automated, but at the end of the day, you're running a business, right? You got bookkeeping, you got taxes to deal with, you got many moving parts, right? So it's really there's a lot behind the scenes that people don't
Mhm.
see, right, on a day to day. Everyone sees closing day or posts on Facebook or Instagram about closing, but even leading up to that and beyond that is so much involved, right? It's calls
Right.
and texts, throughout
Mhm.
the day about, something went wrong, right? So,
Yep. And
so
it's a community. It's calls and texts, about my business, but then it's community. Like for example, we work at doing the real estate at committee stuff. We connect on deals. I'm connecting with, I'm a real estate agent. So like, I spend a lot of my time helping other people. If I help them, then it helps me. As an agent, obviously there's commission. As just a real estate investor friend, like when they do deals, then it helps them get better, and then ultimately we can do deals together. So some of the helping of other people has translated to them being private money lenders to me. So if you're being a go-giver, adding value, it is amazing like what comes back to you. So we're talking about like optimization, but some of that optimization comes from spending time and helping others. Because what I've noticed is like the more value I'm putting out there, man, it starts coming back. Like I'm starting to get back investments in people and projects from years back that's been built up. So it's just amazing to see, and it's like telling me I need to do a lot more of that, because the more I give out, the more ends up ultimately coming back.
And it's so true, right? Everyone says like you get back 10x of what you put out, right? And it's
Right.
it's so true. And seeing that, you're right. Doing it, you start seeing it, and until that point, you don't see it. It might not be tomorrow, might not be in a week, but it will, right? So
Mhm.
that's just the belief you have to have in it. So
Right.
Justin, what's next? Like after this, hitting your benchmarks, you're killing it. What's next for you?
So, I'm shifting from acquisition to optimization mode. So that definitely working on that right now. I'm growing my real estate agent business. So I just hung my license over at Keller Williams. So I'm going to be doing more of agent business. And then I'm going to continue to focus on off market deals. So, you know, I'm trying to generate and find sellers. Those sellers, if they want retail, then I'm an agent, I'll list it. If they need to move quick off market, I can help them do that. So I'm focusing on kind of multiple income streams to be more stabilized and live off the income. So I'll have my existing agent or long-term buy and hold, short-term rental business. So I have that coming in. I'll have fix and flip wholesaling income. And then the third one is the agent income. So as it sits right now, those three buckets, doing a major push right now on the real estate agent side to get out there, get connections, both buyers and sellers. Once I get that flywheel going, that'll kick more money back off to me. Then I'll use that money for long-term buy and hold. I'm always going to be buying. It's just right now it's optimization. Come 2023, obviously if mortgage rates change and stuff, then I'll restructure, pull cash out, take the money I have at the time and start buying again.
Love it, love it. You're becoming a one-stop shop, right, for sellers.
That's like my end goal is I want to be able to work with people who are like us, right? We have good paying tech roles or high paying roles that we're bound to them because they make a lot of money and we live off of that. Now, if I can come in and help people be a one-stop shop, connect them with the lending, bookkeeping, get the property for them, um, help them with the organization setup, get their first property, and then help them build their portfolios, I'm going to be fine. I'm helping them get what they need, and then it's ultimately going to work for me. So the one-stop shop, that's what's missing. So I want to start doing that. Once I get a few under my belt, then I'll figure out how to scale it.
Love it, love that. Yeah, I think you're gonna do amazing, man. So for anyone that wants to connect with you, like what's like the best place to find you? Where can they reach out to you?
So right now, majority of everything I do real estate related, I put under JCCAMBRA. So that's my Instagram handle. And then I always push that over to Facebook. So it's just Justin Cambra on Facebook. So JC Cambra is where you can find me. I always put on here, like, if you want to reach out to me, like I still, my phone number is 425-387-3975. Feel free to hit me up. I love helping people. Some of the best things that have happened over the last couple of years is people I've met and help them get their first deal, and then they report back like, hey, you got my first property. There's no greater feeling for me than helping these other people. And so there's actually one guy that I think he's on his like third property now, and I'm just like, I just love helping people see the light and seeing them grow. It's so cool because I know their life is going to change for the better once they get that like first property.
It's just that first one, right? And that's literally
Right.
everyone gets the bug.
Oh yeah,
So
totally.
amazing, man. You're doing awesome work. So thank you again, for coming on the show today. You've been a wealth of knowledge, and for anybody that's interested in the Seattle area, Milwaukee, investing in general, just hit up Justin. He really knows what he's doing. So thank you again, man.
All right. Thanks, Samir. Appreciate having me on your show.
Take care, man.